Oh yeah, Black Sun in the hizzle off at Shizzle. We got an excellent show here today. Um, just some truck safety 101 real quick. Yeah, I'm sweating my forehead. I just changed oil in this car and I got to go get the hoopty. But I wanted to give a little truck lesson here today for new truckers because here in Atlanta we have a lot of new truckers, man, and they're being taken advantage of. So, as you know, I've been driving for what 30, 35 years, for a long time, right? And in my years of driving, I have gotten pulled over by the DOT and I've gone to court numerous times. And it gets to the point where you just finally decide to ask, why am I getting pulled over? Good videos sound good. Thanks for Relax and Talk Sports. So, this is a real quick lesson on trucking. I'm going to get to the news in a minute, but I want to just talk about some trucking 101 safety. Um, and then I'll start answering y'all questions. Let's see here. So, for a long time, man, I was driving truck, man. I was like, why am I getting pulled over? Why am I getting pulled over? Why am I getting pulled over? Get pulled over, get pulled over. And I never thought to ask police, DOT officer, like, what is the weight, what you look for? So, as y'all know, the one officer that I met, he told me they're looking for a hump. Another thing, Chubbs, what's going on, Chubbs? Another thing that they don't tell the truck drivers, but Judge decided to tell me because the driver that long story short, the judge says, and DOT, they said it in his Georgia law. Now, if you're in another state, I don't know what, I'm pretty sure it's the same statewide, well, nationwide, but Judge, real simple, man, real simple guy. He was like, you fill your truck three-fourths of the way. Then he says, you see my hands? You got three, then four. Three, then four. So it shouldn't go past three and then four. I was like, when the judge did that, I was like, oh, that's simple. Three, four, three, four. So it shouldn't pass. It should only be for three-fourths of the way. Simple sign language. It was very simple. And so a lot of companies, um, in my years of driving, a lot of companies, a lot of construction companies, a lot of milling companies, asphalt companies, especially the company I drive or had a high turnover rate. They had done had like 9 different crews in my years of working contracting with them. once once the crew gets good, the fatal mistake they do is ask their boss for money or a raise, and that's when he just fires the whole crew, starts a whole nother crew, just train a whole nother crew. This guy has been doing this for as long as I've been contracting under, long as I've been contracting for this asphalt company. The crew will get good, like because like right now the crew is kind of learning, and by them learning, they're overloading the truck. The supervisors, they're learning. Everybody's learning in this process, and it frustrates a experienced driver like myself when you overload my truck. Okay, I don't know if y'all ever seen the Titanic, the movie The Titanic. When the water starts, when you start hearing buckling, when you load my truck, when it gets overweight, you will hear buckling. You will hear snap, crackle, and pop. Well, hopefully you won't hear pop, but you'll hear some. Well, hopefully you won't hear snap. You'll hear some crackle. Hopefully you won't hear pop either. But you hear a lot of buckling, like so the truck is being overloaded, and so a lot of as y'all know, there's a lot of Ethiopians here in Georgia, a lot of Somalians here in Ethiopia. Somalians, Ethiopians, and they tend to don't know how to get their license, but they just jump into the truck and they drive the truck like it's a car, meaning they don't slow down when they take a turn. And so they're constantly being overloaded. And we shouldn't be overloaded anyway, but for you to be overloaded and then take a turn without slowing down is fatal. And so I say, okay, been there to work for a company that had a high turnout rate, but over time it got where it became lower and has good drivers in time. I retired from them. So Chubbs, it's bad because you got a high turnover because a lot of there was a lot of Ethiopians at one point in time, but a lot of them were dying left and right because they were flipping trucks over. So the Ethiopian population and Somalian population are killing themselves off, but it makes the insurance go up. It makes it harder. But what I'm not understanding is everybody. Well, everybody has to do their part, And I think I ran into one loader that was really experienced and knew what he was doing. Dude looked like Dusty Rhodes, right? But I say that to say this: a lot of these loaders, they're new, and a lot of these drivers, they're new, so they're just a recipe for disaster. So if you're watching this video, you know a new truck driver, show them this video. 3/4, or just tell them 3/4. What's on trip? Yep, we had some in the beginning that got their CDL at Walmart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently, especially during the Biden administration, a lot of people were attaining their CDLs very easily, like it wasn't nothing. And so, um, hell, Chubbs, I'm just, as a fellow truck driver, I only not look out for my safety, but I like to look out for the safety of other drivers, especially if they're dump truck drivers. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a reflection of me, man. I gotta at least tell them if they don't listen, then oh well. But I got to make it safe out here, and so we as truck drivers don't get looked at sideways like we don't know what the hell we're doing. Because there's a lot of us that know what we're doing, and a lot of us that have experience, but the market has been flooded by drivers, by migrant drivers, I might add, that has just gotten their CDLs. And I think was it somebody told me there was a I don't know if it was Ruby. Ruby told me that there was a CDL scam going on, a CDL scam in one of these states. And I think Miss Rowland might have did a show on it. I'm not sure, So I'm not sure. I gotta go back and look, but I think it was Ruby had told me that. But I say that to say this, you guys, is that yeah, it's simple. Just take your hand, 3/4, 3/4. If this is your bed, 3/4. So you're like me, the old school driver that has got a lot younger drivers took my advice, so they are great drivers. Now my son was one of them and been driving now for 20 years. Wow, Chubbs, how did you get your son to get his CDL? Because I'm trying to get my sons to get their CDL, and I know another driver trying to get his sons to get their CDL.